Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us at 7. I'm Tracey McCain.
And I'm Cailtin Francis. You're watching Eyewitness News on the Wax. We do appreciate you joining us here on your Friday. Lots of big stories that we're following for you here this morning as you're getting ready to maybe start the weekend a little early, but we got to get a check on that forecast. We still have a little bit of rain that's been lingering after, torrential downpours yesterday. So Scott Gagliardi here for a check on that forecast. We're a little bit better right now, yeah?
We are definitely better than we were even just a few hours ago.
Yeah.
And that's the trend that continues for the rest of the day today. So
Yes.
Good news. I'm bringing some good news to this Friday,
We like
right?
good news.
Thank you.
You're welcome. It's August 1st, new month.
I know.
And
Not wild.
It's crazy, first of all. But second of all, the weather that's coming, it is not going to feel like August at all. Look at the temperature right now. It's 59 degrees, some showers around through Windsor Locks along the shoreline. Same deal, a few showers, lots of clouds. Temperatures cooler. But First Alert Live radar shows the last of these showers are exiting. This is all moving from west to east. Give it about, say, 3 or 4 more hours. The rain will come to an end. The clouds stick around until about noon. And then beyond that, they begin to break up. And it's looking pretty good for the rest of the day. And this weekend is phenomenal. Rainfall totals, look to the north, 2, 3, even in some cases more than that. 3 inches along the shoreline. We swung from a half of an inch up to, say, an inch. And in some areas, it's in your old Saybrook, just over an inch of rain. So everybody, we needed the rain. We'll take it. We didn't have any drought concerns, but we certainly did get the rain. Luckily, no flash flooding. That stayed to the south of Connecticut, so some good news there. Temperatures, though, they are cool out there. You need a light jacket. 50s and low 60s. We're down anywhere from 10 to 15 degrees cooler right now than we were this time yesterday. We're going to get you, though, the latest on how cool the temperatures get this weekend and when we'll see a warm-up. That's ahead in your First Alert forecast. Kate, good morning.
I'll take it.
Okay.
Good morning, Scott. Good morning, everyone. Happy Friday. If you are getting ready to hit the road here, heading to work, bringing the kids to summer camp, maybe one of those last weeks that they've got camp going on here. Roads are still wet across the state from overnight and yesterday because of how much rain we saw. So potential for a little bit of puddling still left over, still potential for a little bit of spray coming up from those vehicles. Live look here in Hartford, 91 north and southbound, that traffic volume increasing pretty typically there. Here in Middletown along Route 9, we'll see some daytime construction along the Route 9 corridor, as we will here in Meriden, right at 691, right by the 91 interchange. Route 15 also dealing with some of that daytime work here in Waterbury by the Mixmaster, 84 east and westbound. Moving along, but again, those roads could be a little compromised still as you're heading out the door. A live look here at your drive times, looking really good for this time of morning. Just about a 75-minute ride, 95 southbound towards the George Washington Bridge. Let's check out your Connecticut Chevy First Alert traffic report driven by your Connecticut Chevy dealers. It's 7:03 happening today. The Plainville community, along with really the entire state, will be coming together to honor and remember the life of volunteer firefighter Ray Maro.
Firefighter Maro died in the line of duty nearly a week ago while responding to a house fire. Your reporter Taylor Knight has a look at what we can expect tonight.
Tracey, Caitlin, it is expected to be a packed house at the wake tonight. Here at the Plainville Fire Department, you can already see the outpouring of support from the community all week long. People have been leaving these flowers, signs, and other gifts in honor of Ray Maro.
The wake will be held at the Plainville Funeral Home on Broad Street from 3 to 7 this evening. Members of the public are welcome to attend and pay their respects. Due to expected attendance, parking will be available at the former GE property at 41 Woodford Avenue. The town will have shuttles running to and from the funeral home starting at 2:45 this afternoon. Maro died after being struck by a piece of equipment that fell from a fire truck while responding to a house fire on Maria Road on Sunday. State police and OSHA are still investigating this incident. Maro was a Marine Corps veteran and longtime volunteer and has been described by many as the heart of the Plainville Fire Department.
The wake this afternoon happening ahead of his funeral scheduled for tomorrow. It's expected to happen at 10 o'clock tomorrow morning at Central Connecticut State University. Your reporter in Plainville, Taylor Knight, Channel 3 Eyewitness News.
The YWCA in New Britain will be closed once again today. It's been closed since Wednesday after a 2-year-old died while at the daycare. No word on when that facility would be back open, but a vigil for that child scheduled for 5:30 tomorrow evening at Stanley Quarter Park. Investigators still looking into the exact circumstances of that boy's death. The YWCA says staff followed all emergency protocols, but the child's mother tells us she needs answers about why he couldn't be saved.
Right now, we are tracking developing news where Hartford police are investigating a double shooting.
So we've learned one of the victims suffered potentially life-threatening injuries. Your reporter Roger Suzanin has the latest on this investigation from Hartford Police Headquarters.
Well, I can tell you that two things are happening at the same time right now. Of course, police are still searching for the shooter, and a 19-year-old is fighting for his life at a local hospital. Let's take you to the crime scene, the site of this double shooting. Police say late last night, the violence played out just outside of an apartment complex along the 1600 block of Main Street in downtown Hartford, a few blocks north of Duncan Park. Investigators say both victims showed up on their own at Hartford Hospital, but their situations are very different. Police say a man in his 30s will survive his injuries, but a 19-year-old is in critical condition right now with potentially life-threatening injuries. Now, that double shooting, by the way, happened about half a mile from where I'm standing right now outside Hartford Police Headquarters. Also about a half a mile from the double shooting that happened last week, although those crime scenes happened in different parts of town. Reporting in Hartford this morning, I'm your reporter Roger Suzanin, Channel 3 Eyewitness News.
This morning, a funeral director from Coventry is set to face a judge over claims that he stole thousands of dollars in prepaid burial accounts for gambling. Philip Pietris is charged with larceny. He operates 4 funeral homes in our state. Investigators have identified more than 80 victims, and his funeral license has now been taken away.
This morning, a man from West Haven now facing a murder charge in the brutal death of his mother, who was found inside her home. Our cameras were the only ones inside the courtroom when these new charges were announced against Theodore Lloyd. He was initially charged with arson after police say he set his mother's home on fire to try to cover up the crime. He's due back in court next month.
This morning, the man accused of brutally killing his young child in Naugatuck a few years ago is being offered a plea deal. The state's attorney out of Waterbury tells us the deal would put Christopher Francis in prison for 40 years. Back in 2022, he spent weeks on the run after police say he killed his 11-month-old daughter, Camilla.
And this morning, we're working to find out more about the status of an 18-year-old high school student from New Haven who's been detained by ICE. He was taken into custody last week while working at a car wash. We have reached out to his lawyer to find out where this case stands this morning, and we're told he's being held at a detention facility in Louisiana. Immigration advocates and school leaders are calling for his release.
Well, today, a state police sergeant is retiring after investigators say he was involved in a confrontation between 2 First Amendment auditors, and the video went viral. We've learned the auditors went to his Groton home earlier this month to ask questions about his overtime pay. One of the auditors says the sergeant brought out a gun and spit on him as they were leaving. Both auditors were arrested on trespassing and other charges. The sergeant has not been charged.
7:08, if you're waking up with us in Avon this morning, your emergency calls could be answered by a dispatch center in Farmington as soon as the end of the summer. The Avon Town Council approved a plan to combine the 2 centers, so Avon sometimes just has 1 dispatcher working because of staffing shortages. The Avon police chief says this move could improve safety.
One of the things that keeps me up at night is knowing that there's 1 dispatcher working.
Avon's dispatchers will be offered jobs in Farmington, and officials say the technology needed to make the switch already in place.
First responders in our state are learning how to properly honor fallen heroes ahead of firefighter Maro's funeral this weekend. The National Honor Guard Academy is in Connecticut right now, training them when to walk, turn, and salute. This process is extremely detailed. It dates back more than a century, and it gives families a sense of comfort.